How do you capture a moment like that when cameras aren't allowed in the courtroom, where our next guest has just that responsibility? Christine Cornell is with me, one of just 3 courtroom artists who played such a critical role in recording this historic trial. She's live with me this morning. A pleasure to meet you. Thank you for being my guest.
Barely alive.
Really? After all of what you've been through, I bet. And your arm must be sore, I'm sure, from everything. Listen, as you were listening to Alex talk about the moment, I'm wondering, were you packing up the pastels as he was getting his notebook ready to go? Unexpected for you, too?
Gracious. I had done a drawing preparing for No Verdict today, and labored on it. It was beautiful. I was so proud of it. And then all of a sudden I hear, oh my God, I need to have a verdict drawing. And that was a mess because, as you heard, it was extremely short period of time. So my drawing is just messy.
Well, no, I have it. I can show it to you. Here it is, but it looks good to me. I know you've done a couple of other ones that you're happier with, but the one that you did in the moment, it just was catching it on the fly, I guess.
It was just wacky that it was coming down so fast, and the energy in the room, we were all very silent. We were told to be silent, but I think everybody was stunned a little bit. Even if you kind of expected this, it was a super sober moment.
Absolutely. You've been covering this throughout all of the days, anticipating that you would have to do a verdict sketch. What did you plan to focus on?
This was just a very tricky drawing because of how many officers there are in the court and how they block your vision all the time. And, we rotated through seats because there was one perfectly dreadful seat. And frankly, that's the one that I was in yesterday. But, what did I plan to do? You can't draw the jury. You have to make them super rough.
Right.
I didn't know if he was going to sit, if he was going to stand. I was trying to do everything,
at once.
Yeah. And then when it was over, I had to go out into the hallway and work on it some more because I just thought, dang, that's not ready to hit air. I need a little more time. They wouldn't let us stay. They threw us on out as soon as the verdict was over. We had to pack up and leave.
So interesting to get your insider perspective on all this. So suddenly you're faced with capturing the verdict and the moment and the reaction that Donald Trump showed. What did you see at the first guilty? Because our reporter was telling us by the time it got to 4 or 5 and he was realizing, wow, this may be on all counts, things changed.
Yeah.
What did you see as it evolved?
I saw that he started to shake his head back and forth, somewhere about 5 guilties in. And when, the thing that struck me as he left the courtroom after he shook hands with his son, which was more of a clench of, hang tough, is that his arms, he didn't seem to know what to do with his arms. And I think it's because he was in stun and still hadn't taken it in. Just, the heft of it. It was a big defeat.
And is that, had you had all the time to plan and execute the drawing that you had hoped, Christine, is that what you would have wanted to capture, to immortalize that stun notion of here it is, a moment of defeat for him?
Absolutely. I don't believe that this man really has a very good communication with what's real. He spins it always to his advantage. And I think this was just one moment he could not spin. At least for a moment, he couldn't spin it. He was, shortly thereafter going to go straight on what his spin would be. But man, oh man, that one hit him like a ton of bricks.
He certainly did in the hallway try to spin it, and we'll hear him do so at 11 o'clock as well from Trump Tower. You have, as I look at your CV, it's so impressive, but the cases that you've covered in the past, Mark David Chapman, the assassin of John Lennon. I look at Bernie Madoff and John Gotti, the mob boss, Martha Stewart, Central Park. I could go on and on and on and on. How has this experience for you, being in the court every day, how has it distinguished itself based on all of the extraordinary cases you've covered before?
People are people, and, you just take them as they come. I sort of felt as if I had a slight relationship with Mr. Trump because I drew him, back in the 80s. And, we had pleasantries back then in our, little bit of conversation. In fact, yesterday as he walked past me, it sort of startled me that I caught his eye and he nodded to me. He was upbeat when he came into the courtroom yesterday, thinking that he'd gotten through another day, and the longer it went, the better it was going to go for him. And things just turned so fast around.
And so
That
completely.
he just looked a little lost as he left, and I felt for the man. This is he's not used to taking well, as we know, he's not good at taking defeat.
It's not over, though, as he said. Never surrender. That's become the slogan, and we'll keep on fighting in the appeal to come was the message he delivered. Will you be covering that, too? You're going to travel all around for all of the stages yet to come in Donald Trump's legal challenges?
He has so many legal challenges. I can tell you in the beginning, I was just, send me anywhere. We'll see. If they ask me to go, I'll go. But I think, for sure I'll be there for the sentencing, and that's going to be a real pivotal moment. I can't imagine what this judge is going to do. It's what a heavy thing
Burden.
to weigh for him.
What a burden, for sure. Christine, what a pleasure to meet you. I hope we'll have more conversations as you continue to cover this, as I continue to cover this, and as everyone continues to watch it unfold. Thanks so much for today and your inside perspective.
Maybe he'll stop stalking past me in my sleep.
Good luck with that. Thanks, Christine Cornell from New York this morning.